I'm James Grady. I'm from the United States. I actually live in Washington, D.C. Before that, I lived in the state of Montana. I'm a fiction author. I'm best known for my first novel, Trésor de Condor, or Séjour de Condor, depending. The movie with Robert Redford came from my first book. Since then, I've specialized in fiction, roman noir, some policier, some film scripts, and some journalism. I have always been curious why things happen the way they do and who people really are. And I try to answer both of those questions in my fiction while having a good time. You know, I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. At my heart, in my heart, I'm a storyteller. So whatever the good story is that I can find, the best story I can find is the one I want to tell. Being able to go to festivals, whether in France or Italy, but mostly here in France, it's just an extraordinary honor to be an American author and to be able to come and meet my French readers. This is something that people do not get a chance to do in the United States. So that in and of itself is a magnificent joy and honor. But to be in Pau, where I was named the Godfather, and to be able to help with the festival and to go into the schools, this is an extraordinary, wonderful adventure. It's a treat of a lifetime. There are only about 1,000 novels I wish I had written instead of someone else. I think if I had to pick one, it would be The Maltese Falcon by Dashiell Hammett. It's an extraordinary and in its time a very revolutionary piece of literature. As we go forward, of course, my list becomes longer and longer with each era, from Chandler up through some of the fiction of John le Carré, up to today and some of the stuff that's being written. For example, James Ellroy who's a friend of mine, he's written a couple books I would love to have written instead of him. But really, for me, the king is Dashiell Hammett, and the best book is The Maltese Falcon. I try to be a cop, but my heart and my life and my background, I'm a thug. I didn't so much choose noir fiction and crime fiction, roman policiers, as they chose me. When I looked out at the world to see the stories that were interesting to me and the people who were interesting to me and the challenges we all face, all of us, what emerged were stories of noir fiction, of roman policier, of crime fiction, and they pulled me to them. So I feel like sometimes I'm not an author, I'm a journalist. I'm telling the stories that I find, and they tend to be noir fiction. I think in the United States they don't have this is sad to say, they don't have this literary sophistication that I find in France. And in the United States, they would tend to ask me, where do your thriller ideas come from? How is it to write that exciting thing? And do you ever want to write real fiction? Well, I think what I do is real fiction, and I think that the great American authors, John Steinbeck, William Faulkner, To Kill a Mockingbird is essentially a film noir. It's a noir novel, and writing that kind of fiction is often misunderstood in the United States, but in France, it's understood clearly. It's a paradox. I don't know why. No, I'm not annoyed. I'm never annoyed by a question of honesty and integrity. I'm never. To me, the only thing that is annoying is I have inadequate answers. I'm not good enough for the questions sometimes. That can be annoying, but the questions themselves, no. Questions are how we learn and go through life. I would say choice. It is, all crime fiction comes down to the choices characters make, not just to be within the law or outside of the law, but as to who they want to be, who their character, their internal conscience, their internal morality wants to be. Choice is the central characteristic of both noir and crime fiction.